how's it going? Stabman coming back at you once again, and again I'm going to ask you if you do like these videos, my little review videos. Videos like this, videos where I just review one movie, whatever. The review videos in particular, if you like them, please hit that bell button so that you can be notified whenever I do a review kind of video. And there you go. There, you will get notified every time I do a video, and if you want to see it, you can see it. If you don't have to see it. But that way, YouTube won't necessarily just, skip it over, which sometimes they do now. I don't know why, but it happens. Sometimes videos don't show up in people's subscriber feeds, or subscription feeds, I should say. So, yeah, that's apparently now the best way to make sure that you don't miss anything. So, yeah. Anyways, next up today, I will be talking about some DVDs that I picked up to watch and see if they were anything that I wanted to pick up on Blu-ray. And I can tell you right now, these are horror movies, and most of them actually I will not be interested in picking up. But let's just get into it, alright? I'm going to start off with The Howling, which is apparently a classic that everybody points to and says, oh, that's such an awesome movie. You gotta see it. Well, I got the DVD so that I can finally check it out, knowing full well that it's on Blu-ray. Knowing full well that the Blu-ray is apparently very nice. And I have to say, I'm a huge fan of Joe Dante. I get why some people might really like this. I really thought the special effects, as usual with a Joe Dante movie, were freaking fantastic. But the story, the concept of the movie itself, I couldn't get behind any of the characters. I couldn't get behind any of the plot. It just seemed a little too far-fetched for me. It seemed a little too, I don't know. It just didn't work for me. And that's not really a good thing when Wolf works for you, but Howling doesn't. Maybe there's just something wrong with me. I don't know, but either way, I just really didn't like this movie as much as I thought I would. I didn't like it as much as other people have said I would or have suggested that I might. So it was kind of disappointing to find out, oh, this movie that everybody's saying you gotta see is actually not great. It's okay. It's one of those, it's like, it's okay, but I give it like maybe a 6 out of 10. And that's just mostly because the special effects were so goddamn gorgeous, beautiful, awesome. I mean, you can't deny the special effects in this movie. You just can't. If you are a special effects hound, all about those practical effects, this is a goddamn must. But if you're somebody like me who appreciates that, but would also like, a good story behind it, this just, it didn't work for me. I'm sorry, it just did not work for me. And I will not be buying the Blu-ray unless I find the Blu-ray for some ridiculously low price and I'm just like, oh, I have to get that. I'm not going to be getting the Blu-ray, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't get behind this movie. I don't know why. Maybe I'm crazy, but just wasn't a fan. Next up, we will talk about some even worse movies. The Grudge, the American The Grudge, which I remember watching and thinking, well, that was kind of scary, kind of interesting movie, and I remember liking it the first time that I saw it, but upon a second viewing, this is kind of garbage, guys. This is, I don't know why this was so damn popular. It was one of those horror movies at the time. Yes, it was a remake. There were a lot of remakes happening of Japanese horror movies at the time, and this was one of them. This is one of the big ones. And as much as I'm like, it's a product of its time and it's not necessarily a bad movie, it just felt like it was all over the place. I've seen Ju-On, and I remember Ju-On being a lot more on point, having a more solid, straight-to-finish storyline. And I'm not saying every movie has to have straight-to-finish, like, linear storytelling, because obviously stuff like Pulp Fiction is freaking amazing. But, you know what I mean? It had a stronger, more compelling, more together story in the original Ju-on movie. Whereas this one feels very disjointed in all the wrong ways. Just was not a huge fan. There's nothing to write home about when it came to the I guess the special effects were okay, but when it came to the story, the characters, the plot, the way that the movie was shot, the cinematography, just all of it was just not really digging it. I think I might have given this like a 7 when I was, out of 10 when I was younger, and honestly, I'm looking at it now like that's a 5 out of 10. I have no desire to even have this in my collection right now. I'm thinking honestly of just selling the DVD. I'm never going to get this on Blu-ray. I can tell you that right fucking now. I'm going to sell this DVD. It's going to be worth jack shit, but I'm just going to sell it because this is not a very good movie. And then there was also The Grudge 2 Director's Cut, which, if possible, was even more disjointed than the first movie was. What the hell happened here? I guess you could say, like, at least it was somewhat connected to the first movie, whereas a lot of modern horror movies, or it wasn't just about, it's not just modern horror movies that did this. They did it with Halloween 3 at the time, too. But Halloween 3 was actually a good movie, whereas in some cases they do sequels and they have nothing to do with the original movie and it's just a crappy movie, you know what I mean? This one, at least it had something to do with the original movie, but that's not necessarily saying much because the original movie wasn't very good. At least the remake that it's based off of, you know what I mean? And, I mean, I don't know. There just really wasn't much here that got me, you know what I mean? Wasn't much here that I found very scary or interesting or any of that stuff. I guess there were a few concepts that I found interesting, but they never really went anywhere. It wasn't a good movie. It was worse than the first movie, which is typical for a horror movie sequel, obviously, but regardless, I still was pretty unhappy with it, you know what I mean? I almost didn't get through it. I was basically MST3King it with my friends, just talking shit about it the entire time I watched it, through chatting with them online and stuff like that. So, yeah, not a huge fan of this movie. Not very good. I would say this is like a 3, maybe. No, fuck it. It's a 2. This is a 2 out of 10, you guys. This is garbage. If you've never seen The Grudge 2, don't bother. I don't know why I even bothered. But, oh well, I guess. At least now I know I don't want these, and I can sell them together as a set and get maybe... Who wants to make a bet that I get maybe like $1? $1 for these two? Probably not even that. If I sell it on Amazon or eBay, not even... I wouldn't deal with Amazon. I wouldn't bother. But with eBay, maybe $1 or $2. I don't know. Whatever the case may be with that, not gonna be getting these on Blu-ray. However, the next movie, the last movie we'll be talking about here, I saved the best for last, you guys. Because this one I will definitely be picking up in the best possible quality because it was so fucking good. So that would be Horror Express, which I believe also goes by another name, but I don't remember what that name is. This movie stars Christopher Lee, and it also stars Peter Cushing. Like, you can't really do better than that. They actually have 2 fairly decent roles in this movie, and the story behind their participation in this movie is quite interesting. As I understand it, this is a giallo movie. At least I've been told that, which is like an Italian horror movie from back in the day, and it really felt like one of those Italian horror movies, you know what I mean? From the 70s and the 80s. It really had that feeling of just that kind of an Italian horror movie, which is why I went looking online to see who did this movie, where was it shot, and I found out that it was shot in in Spain. And I was thinking, it's a Spanish movie? Spain? Really? But apparently no, it was just an Italian film that was shot in Spain. So, I don't know. Apparently that happened frequently, but whatever. Regardless of all that, I have to say this was just an amazing movie. I was not even expecting it. You see a movie like this, and I remember I got this in a pack with a bunch of other movies, just thinking, well, it looks like it'll be good, cheesy fun. And yes, it was cheesy, but it was just, the story was really good. I was surprised by how good the story was. And yeah, it was pretty simplistic, but there was just something to it that was so freaking awesome. And when I started reading up on it, I discovered why it was so awesome. This is apparently like a continuation of the story from The Thing, you guys. I'm not even shitting you. This movie is essentially a continuation of the story from The Thing. And it works pretty fucking well. I was shocked by that. Like, that is some really good storytelling, and you've got some really good actors in there. You got Christopher Lee, you got Peter Cushing, and apparently the story behind that was, I don't know if it was Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee, but one of them, their wife had recently passed away, and they didn't really want to do this movie, but they were both friends, and I think it was Christopher Lee who was consoling Peter Cushing, saying, listen, I'm not going to do this movie unless you join me. You know what I mean? So apparently it was because of Christopher Lee, or maybe I have it the other way around, but it was because of the other that they both ended up doing this movie. And they did so freaking well. Each of their roles was so well done. And the practical effects in this movie are so freaking awesome. Like, the special effects are just really freaking cool. And I don't mean like, oh, they're fantastic, they're beautiful in comparison to today. Like, no, yes, they have aged. They have aged, all right? It's fair to say that the special effects have aged. But they've aged in that way that Italian horror movies, just by their nature, kind of look really cool. You know what I mean? Those practical effects, even though they don't look as good today, they still look really freaking cool. And that's exactly the kind of cool shit that you see in Horror Express. Really, really loved it. Very, very good movie. And I believe it's on a Blu-ray, but it's like one of those smaller specialty label companies that did the Blu-ray, maybe, I don't know. You can ask my friend Brandon Skinslip about it. He knows. I'm going to be asking him about it when I go to get the Blu-ray. So yeah, very, very happy that I got this and finally watched it. Such a good movie. Surprisingly good movie. Very, very much recommended. So if you haven't seen this or heard of this or whatever, you should definitely check it out whenever you get the chance, because it is really cool. So yeah, that'll finish it off for tonight. For today, it's nighttime. But needless to say, these three movies, this one, I'll hold on to the DVD, but I don't really care about the Blu-ray that much. These two are crap. I recommend you do not ever watch them or buy them or pay any money for them whatsoever. And this one, whenever you see it, if you see it on the shelf like this, pick it up. Just pick it up, watch it. It's awesome. So yeah, those are my thoughts on these movies. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later. Peace.